Good evening and you're welcome to the Business Enterprise Show. My name is Collgan and I'm coming to you live from the top of the town studios on Ireland's first live web TV business programme, viewed by over 500,000 viewers in 211 countries worldwide. On tonight's programme, we're going to have a bit of a taste of Cavan, because as we all know, weekend after next, on the 10th and the 11th, is the Taste of Cavan Festival here in Cavan Town. My guest this evening is Joanne Hayes, who's the Tourism Officer of Cavan County Council, and Alan Mohan, board member, poultry producer, you name it. If it comes to do with food, you have an involvement. You're both very welcome to the programme. Joanne, I might start with you. The Taste of Cavan. It's not just about business and food. It's actually about getting people into our fair county.
Yes, it is. And we're building on the This is Cavan brand, which we established about a year and a half ago. And food tourism is part of that. So we've linked in with the work that Ala's doing and his food network, and we're building on that and using the Taste of Cavan as a means to promote food tourism and to promote everything else that we have in Cavan.
And this is the second year that it's happening. Alo, last year was its first one, so I suppose it was a lot more difficult to put together because it was just a concept. Now you're going around to people, and I suppose to a certain extent people are jumping on a proven bandwagon.
Absolutely, the atmosphere was fantastic last year. We had over 7,000 people attended for something that was untested, something that people didn't know anything about. It really was electric. And this year you can hear the buzz around the streets and talking to people. They're all looking forward to it. And a lot of people are really wanting to be involved in it. You know, Board B are back on board again. You see an awful lot of supermarkets wanting to see what produce are coming out of Cavan, so we have a good possibility of creating more jobs out of that there. And there's a lot of people all around the country that are talking about how it was done and the way Cavan Council had worked it. So we're really looking forward to it.
In a nutshell, what is Taste of Cavan?
Cavan food.
Cavan food.
Cavan people.
Showcasing what Cavan has to offer in terms of food.
And when you say showcasing, what exactly does it mean?
Well, we'll have over 75 stands there, and all producers of a food product, all coming from County Cavan.
And what sort of diverse products are we looking at?
Well, from chickens to liqueurs to chocolates to ice cream to mushrooms to cheese to breads to pastries to sauces, vinegars, all sorts of things. So it's very diverse. And will there be free samples on the... I'm sure there will. On the liqueur stand? We'll have to... I'm not so sure about that, but I'm sure there might be.
We have to bring our ID, but it's been a long time since I've been checked for ID, so it should be. So, when you say they're showcasing, who are they showcasing it to? Is it to potential buyers, as in end-user customers, or is it to group buyers like the large retail outlets?
Both.
Yeah, I think it's both. Last year, Musgraves ended up picking up 4 producers, and that has been very, very successful. So you're going to have an awful lot of buyers from all of the major retailers there. But just showcasing it for the best is the feedback that you get from just general people just walking around, tasting the new ice creams. An awful lot of companies are talking about introducing new products to test them on people and see how their reaction is. So it's equally important. It's for both the people that go in there and for the buyers that are being seen as whole showcase.
So are people kind of testing out their products? They've maybe developed something in their kitchen. They've turned it into a little niche market, a little cottage industry, and possibly brought it to a few smaller retailers. But this is an attempt by people that can actually show on a much larger showcase.
Yeah, I mean, there's a golden opportunity here to present your new product and to showcase and to sell what you already have. Last year, as Otto said, 7,000 people visited on one day in October. This year, the event is over 2 days in August, and hopefully the weather will be nice. So we've had some fantastic publicity up to now, and we got some funding from Fáilte Ireland to help us to promote the event, and then along with our use of social media and Twitter and Facebook, we've had some interest from all over the country, all over the world, in fact, from food writers and food bloggers and people interested in food and interested to hear what's being produced locally. So we would be very confident that there'll be a good crowd here. on the 10th and 11th of August. So there's a wonderful opportunity to, if you were a food producer, to say this is what I have, and you've got a market there.
So it is one part of it. This is Cavan brand that, again, with, as you said, social media and Twitter and Facebook and the apparently half a dozen, if not more, other sites that there are out there. And Cavan TV, not to,
and
of
Cavan
course,
TV,
yes.
of course.
With its 211 countries.
Yeah.
But the interest that it's generating, how will that translate into, like you were saying, 4 companies got big contracts. I assumed there wasn't 75, maybe 60 stands there last year. So what about the other 56? What did they get out of it?
Well, a lot of them got sales out of it, fantastic sales. I don't think anybody thought there was going to be such a turn up for people. But you're also going to see established companies that are going to put new products out there, but other products that are already existing, and you're going to get an awful lot of surprises, the products that are actually out there. You know, an awful lot of cottage industries you're going to see that are maybe a mile away from you, and you're going to say, wow, like this is something, you know, that's really interesting. I remember talking about Anya's chocolates, and you know, I remember taking chocolates when I go over to Belgium. I actually take them over to Brussels. I know it's a home, it's supposed to be the home of chocolate, but I'm taking Anya's chocolates, and they're raving about them.
And then you get whiskey to bring back here.
But you really see, and a lot of companies that we've been talking about have talked about how they are going to launch different products. And as again, you have the situation where you have the possibility now. Cottage industries know that there is large buyers there, that there is a possibility there for them to create jobs out of it. So that's going to be a big thing. Then you also have Borbia that are going to be talking about Origin Green and about how companies are reducing their carbon footprint and different things like that. So that's going to be something that people will really interest people and how things are moving forward. You know,
it's the second year of the event. How many exhibitors from the first year renewed their exhibit this year? I was going to say subscription, but not really.
Almost all.
Almost all.
Yeah. There's still a few left to sign up, but we're confident that they will because everybody did or was very pleased with the event last year. So I think we're very confident that we'll have all plus some for this year. It's a two-way. I think the Taste of Cavan has two main objectives. It's the commercial side of things and the business side of things that Ala was talking about, and then it's also a mechanism through which we can get positive publicity for Cavan as a county and all of the ideals upon which we build our brand, and food tourism and local producers and slow food and responsible food and responsible.
I think last year one of the big things was wild food.
At the Taste
At the Taste of Cavan was wild food. I suppose that was kind of the centrepiece or the theme of it last year. What would be the theme or the centrepiece of this year, or is it just too diverse?
I think there's never been concentrated in one sector, because there is a mixture of the cottage industry and the commercial industry, and I think that theme is going to be there, because even if you look at the poultry industry, we have from organic to free range to ordinary birds to corn-fed birds. You know, from the whole bird to the thigh. So, you know, you don't just concentrate in one level, and that will be the same this year as well. You're going to have the whole spectrum right through. So it's up to people to choose, and it's given them the opportunity to actually taste and decide, you know, what is that other products that you can try, you know.
And apart from anything else, it's going to be a really fun event. You know, there's lots of demonstrations, both all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Neville Maguire is going to be there, and Clodagh McKenna is going to be there.
And how do you get the big names like that to appear? Obviously, Neville,
Hugh,
if you mentioned Cavan, he's first there. On
Neville's a fantastic advocate for Cavan in general, and has always been really helpful to us in anything we ask Neville to do. So he's doing 2 demonstrations on the Sunday. And then Clodagh McKenna, we invited her to be there, and then we have lots of local chefs from the Old Post Inn, from Murph's Bistro in Coothill, and we have a local guy, Shane Smith is his name. He's a pastry chef from Cavan, but he works in Fallon and Burn in Dublin. So he's coming down to do some pastry demonstrations. So there's going to be a lot of stuff for people to come along and participate in and enjoy. And it's only €2 in as well, which is a steal. And then loads of stuff for kids as well. So it's apart from anything else, it's going to be a really nice event.
Plenty of big chef names, and you mentioned there Nevin Maguire, and Nevin was on this programme a couple of weeks back when he was at the Border Biz Camp event up in Monaghan. And as you say, any chance Nevin can do to promote Cavan and Cavan TV, he's always in the front to do that. But the other big names who don't necessarily have an association with Cavan, who are coming, is that because of the strength of the brand from last year? It now has become the place to appear. To a degree,
yeah. Paolo Tullio was here last year, and he couldn't come this year. But we invited Clodagh McKenna, and she accepted the invitation, and she's coming this year. So, I think it's wonderful to have somebody from outside. But I think we were also quite lucky and fortunate in Cavan that we have a lot of strong names and a lot of very talented chefs in Cavan as well. So they probably they can do the job just as well as anybody else.
And you could find after this event that a number of them might actually see business opportunities. Like you talk about Shane as a pastry chef, you could see Shane after this event probably looking at trying starting something up here in Cavan itself. So we also by making ourselves a foodie county, you're going to see a lot of people more attracted. But even if you take for example Ella McSweeney there, that opened the event last year with the minister, wants to be part of it, as it come down here so often with ear to the ground, straight away signed up to be here in this year. There is a great food. A lot of people have the whole thing about open water here and the beautiful pastures and everything else. We have a fantastic name here in Cavan, and it is about, so there's no problem getting people to come in, and it's just a matter of working on the brand, and as John said, talks about the whole situation, a window there for tourism and food, which go hand in hand, and also the jobs that go with it.
Yeah, because cookery, I suppose a lot of people have an interest in it, not just from the I want me dinner interest in it. A lot of people have a huge interest in the preparation of food, the background of food, to the extent that whereas we're launching our own new website here on Cavan TV in the next couple of days, one of the innovations that we'll be having coming up shortly will be our own cookery programme. So cookery is very important, and food. But again, going back to the reason that it was started, and I know you were heavily involved in the beginning of that, and it wasn't just as a festival, and it wasn't just as you saw it as a means of getting small producers in front of big names, and you used the influence that you have to get big buyers to come along.
Yeah, and one of the first things I always said about Borbia, we need to be getting out. It's not just about Dublin, it's about all of us. We all pay towards it, and all our farmers are in the rural communities and that, and we need that brand to be out there.
We might just come back to that brand and to that group together after we take this short break.